What's going on, everybody? I am Simplified DeFi, and I'm being covered in this edition of the Fantom Community Spotlight. It's such an honor because I've been a part of Fantom for quite a while. I've networked with so many people in the community, covered different projects, and a lot of my content is focused around what's going on in Fantom and the projects. So the fact that I have my own spotlight where I'm able to talk more about myself, the content that I'm creating, and also just some of my opinions that is happening in DeFi is a true honor. Not to mention the fact that there's been so many amazing people covered in the past, and also, surely, in the future. So with that being said, let's get started. Well, when COVID hit, I had a lot of cash savings in the bank. And that's because my parents always told me, hey, you should really save up on cash. But I never invested it. I never did anything. And I had a strong bias that the market would eventually crash. So when COVID started to take a hit, I put my money where my mouth was and I bet that it would go lower. Now, if you know anything about what happened, the complete opposite happened and I got wrecked. I lost so much money, but it ended up being one of the biggest blessings ever, because what it taught me was that even though I can emotionally feel a certain way and feel so strongly about it, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right. So it taught me that I need to really double check my assumptions, my feelings, all my opinions, because it could always be wrong. So as a result, I started to save up a little bit and tried doing day trading. And I was horrible at that too. Lost a ton of money, wasn't good. But I got really frustrated because I'm in the US and I could only do that during business hours. And there was restrictions if I have a smaller account as well. So that was extremely frustrating. Now, since I'm doing day trading, I love volatility, and I saw that Bitcoin was open to trade 24/7, lot of price action. I'm like, there we go. That's what I want to do. So I day traded Bitcoin. I still got wrecked. Oh my goodness. But I saw that there were different altcoins with even higher volatility. And that's what really started my crypto journey, because I went down the rabbit hole. I'm a little bit more responsible now. Actually, I should say I'm a lot more responsible now. But nevertheless, that is how I got started. Well, I work in IT. I have a degree in computer science, but I don't program. Rather, I'm more of a middleman between the programmers and the users. And ironically, that really helps me out in crypto, specifically by creating content. And I'll tell you why. Now, programmers, they can make things extremely complex, and they need somebody to translate that to the users. And likewise, users, they can talk a ton, but they can't really pinpoint as to what the IT issue is. So I'm more of that middleman where I have the ability to look at code, see what's going on. I can help fix bugs, but then I can also be the translator between the programmers and the users. So when I focus on crypto here, I see a lot of the same things. Developers are talking a lot of complex terms, ideas, because they're around it all day. And they don't understand that to other people on the other side, it's not that easy to comprehend. So I like taking those ideas and just breaking it down simply. So then that way everybody can benefit from that. Yeah, so when it comes to DeFi, I truly believe that it's going to revolutionize traditional finance and a ton of other aspects of our lives that we're not even comprehending right now. And that is super cool. But as it stands right now, DeFi already solves a ton of problems as it is. For example, if you want to send funds to a different country, you don't have to wait days on end for the transaction to be processed. You don't have to jump through hoops with banks, etc. So that right there already tells me like, hey, we got something good here. And then all the things that I can fix and improve on, it's just mind-boggling. Not to mention the amount of new people that are entering the space on a consistent basis. So back in the day, it was Silicon Valley, right? The startup companies, all the tech companies, and that's where all the best minds, the smartest minds were going towards, right? But now looking at crypto, I'm seeing a ton of like developers, business people, they see the potential that's happening here. Now there's obviously uncertainty, it's not a clear path moving forward, but they're saying there's so much innovation, so much opportunity. People are just coming in and really working on it. So when you have like the best and brightest minds working on things, especially in this new area, it's hard for me to believe that it won't be successful. Now, there could be bumps along the way, but nevertheless, I follow what Wayne Gretzky says in the sense that he skates to where the puck is going, not where the puck is. And I think that the puck is definitely flying towards DeFi right now. Well, I think the number one thing is just the ability to be able to trade 24/7. And it's not necessarily just stocks, but it could be coming down to real world assets. Selling of a house, for example. You can get rid of the banks when it comes to being a middleman, or you can just easily borrow against stocks or your assets. You don't have to ask permission. You just do it right there on the spot. Also, when it comes down to DAOs. So with DAOs, it provides the opportunity to do things that us as individuals really couldn't do on our own. I would love to see being able to own a sports team, such as like in the NFL, and then with a DAO structure, having the ability for the owners, us, to select, okay, do we want to recruit that player? Do we want to do free agency? How does a lot of these key components work? I think that is really cool because if we're, let's say, the audience watching football and these owners are making money, it's like, well, why can't we invest into these teams? Like, why are we locked out? So those are just some quick examples. Yes, it was. I recently rebranded to Simplify DeFi, and I think it was a really great move. However, a lot of the people in the Fantom community know me as Professor Crypto Banana, and it holds a special place in my heart. It still makes me laugh. A lot of people, they do recognize me, and they'll be like, "Hey, Prof, what's going on, Professor Banana?" Always makes me laugh. So a natural question is, what made me decide to pick that silly name to begin with? Well, when I was getting started in the space, I knew nothing about social media, knew nothing about crypto, nothing. So I had to start somewhere. I had to come up with a name. So first one was I love talking and I love explaining. So I chose Professor. Ho ho, good start. What am I going to be teaching about? Crypto. Here we go. And then finally, I'm like, all right, how can I make it more beginner friendly as well as connect? Let's say somebody sees an item and then they'll potentially subconsciously think about my content, my channel. It's like, banana. And because you're going to see in the store, I love bananas in general. I used to eat like, oh my gosh, 8 a day. I'm not even kidding, 8 a day. So I got too addicted and I had to stop. But then also it tied into being a degen, right? A monkey, an ape, the bananas. So all those little things added up. I'm like, here we go, Professor Crypto Banana, let's roll with it. So why did I decide to change it then? Well, ultimately, it was it was really difficult telling people in real life, like, hey, I got a YouTube channel. And they're like, wow, that's great. Okay. And I produce a lot of content. All right. What do you talk about? Crypto. Ooh, that stigma comes out, right? Ooh, crypto. I heard that's a scam. Okay. Well, all right. Well, what's your name, by the way? It's Professor Crypto Banana. Professor what now? Professor Crypto Banana. All right then. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'll see you around. So I had to change it. Likewise, when I tried to interview different people onto the channel, it's a harder sell because people don't take you seriously with that name. So although I love it, still gives me laughs, and a lot of the community does know who I am, I decided to change it to Simplify DeFi, and it helps simplify the message of what I'm trying to do. Well, firstly, I'm going to be breaking down projects and making it be, guess what? Simple. I feel that oftentimes developers, they're not the best at writing documentation and also explaining to the users just the quick summary as to what they're working on. They're in the trenches for so long. They have all these different terminologies. They're in there that when they have to talk to normal users, they don't have that ability to break it down simply. And when normal users come across all this complexity, you're trying to decide, okay, is this worth me putting in an extra hour or two just to find out what problem they're trying to solve? So I come along and I'll typically break it down simply. I'll chalk up some simple diagrams. So then that way, within about, let's say, 5 minutes, everybody knows what this project is trying to solve. Now, it doesn't mean that their solution is very simple, but in general, what problems is this project trying to solve? And then everybody can decide whether it's worth putting in more time to figure out what they're doing and if that project's right for them. Likewise, I really enjoy interviewing smart people. I have the ability to have conversations for hours on end, but likewise, I'm also extremely inquisitive. I want to know what other people are thinking, what they're doing, and in these conversations, I'll just have question after question after question. And I feel like the audience also has that as well, or they potentially should be thinking along those lines. So therefore, rather than just going on Discord or talking to somebody in the DMs, I do this on YouTube so that everybody has that benefit with me. Now, it seems like all sunshine and rainbows and fun, but there are times where I will ask difficult questions. I just will, because I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, that's so amazing what you're doing. Hey, hey, yeah, high five, boom. And everybody logs off. But in the meantime, there are some serious questions that need to be asked. Like, is this sustainable? What about these issues? Don't you think those are problems? Because everything has pros and cons. So I feel like it's more genuine and these questions need to be asked. We're going to see, but it would be great to be the Tom Bellew of crypto, just talking to everybody and interviewing people. I would love that. But likewise, I also enjoy making things be extremely simple. So if I can grow my brand that way, that'd be awesome. So we're going to see where this goes. But yeah, join me for the ride. Okay, I absolutely love this question. So primary factor has to be, am I naturally genuinely interested at the topic, crypto project, or person at hand? Because why waste my time finding out information that I don't care about? That's a waste of my time, right? So if I really want to know, man, my questions are going to be better. I'm going to be more genuine. People are going to feel that energy. And how cool is it to have somebody that you want answers from come onto the channel and be like, nah, 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 nah. We're not doing recycled answers from text. We're not talking about documentation. I want to know from you. I want to see like the body language, the way how you answer it, because it could be completely different from what you see in just text form. So that not only does that benefit me, I think that benefits the audience, right? Because I may have access to certain people, let's say leaders in the crypto space, and be able to DM them and ask them some questions. That benefits me. But if I'm able to bring them onto the YouTube channel, record that, now everybody benefits from it. In addition, sometimes I find people on different YouTube channels that they're guests and I listen in. I'm like, whoa, that's really interesting. That's really cool. And as time goes on, I'm like, wait, I really hope that they ask that question. Come on, ask it. Dude, that was a prime opportunity. Okay, what about this? What about that? You missed all of that. And I'm frustrated. I find myself asking, do I put in the extra time to figure it out and dig through the documentation and ask? I'm like, nah, I'm just going to bring them onto my channel and ask all the questions that were missed. Now, obviously, I want to give credit to the first interview that they went to, and I don't want to be repeating the same questions because then it's just a waste of time for the audience. But in general, I want to be able to find out that information that I find really interesting, but then also may be extremely hard to find out on their own. Yep. Yeah. All the time. It does happen. We have differences of opinions, but my job as an interviewer is not to try to change my guest's mind. Rather, is try to find out and understand their way of thinking, their logic. Because oftentimes, my logic, my opinions can be wrong. And by fully understanding their position, that's very beneficial for me and the audience, right? But at the same time, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to play the other side. Now, it could put my guests into an uncomfortable position, and I will let them know ahead of time, like, hey, I may ask some uncomfortable questions. Are you cool with that? Yeah, okay, cool. Because I'm not trying to attack them. I'm not trying to make them change their mind. I'm just providing the other side of the debate and saying, these are some counterpoints that can be made, whether I'm thinking or somebody else is. How would you address that? And I feel that if they can hold their own and they can provide great logical feedback or great responses to that, it makes their position even more worthy and more likely for me to take that into account and say, like, maybe I need to reassess what I have going on in my mind. Yes, I have. So my biggest obstacle has to be time. So I work full time and I do this on the side. And as a normal crypto user, right, you probably go to your job and then you come home and you do your crypto research and you maybe look at other people that have produced content and you're like, wow, that was overwhelming, but got it done. Well, as somebody that creates the content, guess what? You also have to put in the time to do the research and know what you're talking about, because you can't just jump on camera and be like, haha, that's it. No, you got to put in the extra time. In addition, the amount of time that it takes to actually produce the content was something I was unaware of. It takes a lot of time to record, to draw up, let's say, the diagrams, write up the Twitter threads, do the editing. So let's say if I record for an hour, I don't know how many hours this will take me to edit, like 2-3 hours, not to mention all the details, posting that bad boy up. Whew. So I'm potentially thinking about getting a video editor. That could be a costly endeavor, but overall, yeah, time is a major obstacle that I need to factor out. Yeah, the simple answer is just do it. It doesn't matter whether your equipment completely sucks, if it's from a cell phone and nobody watches it. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing right now. Nobody will watch it. It'll be crap. Don't worry about it. Think of it as like your first 20 videos, 20 threads, whatever it may be, is just going to be garbage. People aren't going to, you're going to get no traction. It's not going viral. Don't worry about it. But the cool part is eventually you're going to get better. You're going to have all these processes where you're like, wow, this used to take me 4 hours. Now I got it down to, let's say, 1 hour. And wow, just watching this, I could tell like that wasn't so great. And wait, if I tweak that, I got better results. And as well as you're able to network with more people, you got more of a following, and that momentum builds up on its own. Now, on the flip side, what if it still sucks and nobody watches it? Well, guess what? Nobody watched it. Nobody knows. And worst case scenario is a failure. Well, guess what? You know that this is not for you anymore. You don't have that lingering thought in your mind anymore. You can say, I tried it, done, not for me, boom. You try something else, and now you're one step closer into finding out something that you truly are passionate about and have a true skill for. Honestly, it's my favorite chain, plain and simple. Really cheap, really cheap gas fee. I'm not talking like, oh, hey, you do $1 and that's pretty. No, I'm talking like what, pennies? It's extremely fast, great user experience. I just like the ability to click, boom, done. Don't have to worry about reverted transactions or any headaches. It's just extremely nice. I go to different chains, I don't have that experience. It's kind of painful. If I have to go on Ethereum and I have to pay $100 gas fee, I'm gonna cry. I'm literally gonna cry, because that takes away from like my portfolio. But I can only imagine other people that would also struggle with that as well. Like it's just not sustainable. Now, if you're in a wealthy position, that's great. But for me personally, it's like, no, I prefer what's going on Fantom. I've been on different chains and it's still my favorite to this day. And my theory is the community loves it as well. And that's like a key component, because they understand how great it is. They experienced it, they tried it, and that is something that really bonds the community together. Now, how did I actually get into Fantom to begin with? Was I saw the price was was making insane moves, and I decided to do more research. I didn't know anything about Fantom. I knew nothing about DeFi in general, but I came across some of Austin's videos back when he was running it as Fantom Community Alerts. Now he rebranded it to Block Bytes. Him, Clay, everybody, they're doing a phenomenal job over there. But this was back when Austin was giving step-by-step guides on how to create LP tokens. And after that, it's just history. Okay, these are my top 3. No particular order. There's a lot of good ones, but we got to limit it down to this list. Here we go. Number 1, Paint Swap. NFT Marketplace, these guys are ridiculous. The amount of features that they have on there is just mind-boggling. Okay, take a look at OpenSea. Very limited as to how this thing works, right? I go over to Paint Swap, I'm like, my goodness. They support financial NFTs, so that's how I already knew a little bit about the NFTs. I'm not a big person that gets into the whole photos and trading it, but nevertheless, that feature in and of itself is amazing. And then I thought about like, okay, what if I wanted to generate some NFTs, like my own collection? How would I do that? boom, I can just mint it right out there. Super easy. When it comes to bulk buying, adding it to cart, just my goodness. And I'm not the only one that I heard say that as well. All right, next up, we got Reaper Farm. I like Reaper Farm because it's just really simple. It's an auto compounder. I don't want to be coming back, claiming up my rewards from LPing and then having to manually do it again, rack up all the transactions. It's a mess. Just simple, dump it there, boom, done. Likewise, I like the extra data that it shows me. It can say like, hey, this is how much yield you're going to be making in a day, in a week, in a year. I'm like, oh, sweet. That's really cool. Likewise, they got some pretty innovative stuff. So when it comes to the financial NFTs, you can just literally go there into their vault, drop down the NFT, and that thing auto compounds on its own, earning yield, etc. So really cool stuff from that group. Finally, okay, I'm biased. Liquid Driver. Really like Liquid Driver. It's one of the projects that I got into. It really taught me about passive yield, passive income. So absolutely loving it. Likewise, I like the exposure that I have to different tokens as a result, because if I lock up my Liquid Driver tokens, now I don't necessarily have to worry about all these other great projects that are happening out there, because Liquid Driver is partnering up and then also they're getting yield. So for example, by locking up my tokens, I now am collecting Boo tokens, Spirit, Beats, soon the I say it's like the Thea tokens or locked up Thea, whatever it may be coming down the road. But that's just some examples right there. So, and they're a project that's looking to adapt. They probably went down a certain path thinking, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And they had to pivot. I mean, the bear market, different things happen and they're pivoting. And it's just exciting to see what they're doing. That would be deliberate with your time. It's so easy to go on Twitter and say like, oh, I'm educating myself with crypto because I'm scrolling for hours. No, it's so easy to get distracted. You'll pop open your phone, you'll look and it's like, why did I even open up my phone to begin with? Okay, now I'm scrolling. Did you truly learn anything? Did you build up your foundational knowledge? No, got distracted, time slipped away. So come with a specific goal. Say, I want to learn about this topic and I'm not going to get distracted by anything else. If I want to learn how liquidity pools work, boom. If I want to know how this project works, I'm going to read through that documentation, done. And the reason why I'm saying this is not only to help out you, but to help out myself as a reminder, because I struggle sometimes with deliberate practice and it made me not achieve and be as productive as I could have been. So by having that focus, maybe it's not fun at the beginning, but it's something that needs to be done, and that self-discipline will pay off multiple ways, whether it's in crypto or any other aspect of life. So to wrap everything up, thank you so much to the Fantom Foundation for having me be in this edition of Fantom Spotlight, as well as thank you to the audience and you guys for helping support me, watching my content. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter as well as on my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys around. Bye.